The newspaper front pages come alive, and thank you so much for staying with us. It's time for us to take a look at the front pages where you can also have your say. So it's that time where we say, have your own say. So join us and let's do it together. Joining us this morning here live in the studio is, of course, Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi, publisher in the Niche newspaper. Thank you so much for being here.
Joe, my pleasure. I've not seen you in a while.
Yes,
it's been around the world.
Be around the world a bit, and then come back and go back to the front pages that sometimes would break my heart. It's sad. It's sad. But I'll let you do you by giving us those very poignant and very deep analysis on every story that we're going to look at this morning. Let's start off with our very first paper. This morning has got to do with the Daily Independent, and Daily Independent does not misfire. Yes, they don't, because they always go straight at it, letting you know what the stories truly are. On the front page there, federal government rolls out measures to crash high food prices. I don't know if it's commendable or it's not, but then again, our analyst is in-house, and you find out some of the areas that you should take note of. So that's one of the stories at the front page there. Federal government rolls out measures to crash high food prices, suspends taxes on importation of food commodities to import 250,000 MT of wheat, 250,000 MT of maize, as megatons of wheat and maize. Aside that, let's look at another story there. No tenure elongation for Rivers LG chairman, appeal court rules.
So, this is the conversation we just had, and which is sort of similar to what the guest had said. We'll talk about that later.
There's no tenure elongation. I mean, if you're a local government chairman, like somebody had said in the comment section, I saw it said, "No, be your papa house." So just take a leave. Go. You've done. You've served already. Another one. Residents groan as fuel scarcity persists in Abuja and Lagos. We're starting to see the fuel queues become very longer in Lagos in some parts. Rivers crisis, I'm not ungrateful, Governor Fubara clarifies in a video which was circulated yesterday in a meeting he had with some of the state and local council chiefs. Zenith Bank wins double award. All right, that's another story concerning a celebration. But then again, let's take this last one before I go straight to Olive. Court adjourns El Rufai's suit against Kaduna Assembly till July 17. July 17. These are some of the big stories you find on the front page of Daily Independent. Let me take this last one, please. Court bars Rivers CG from accepting pro-Wike lawmakers' resolutions.
Ike Rivers State, Agugum. I have to speak Igbo for this one. Rivers State matter, don't tire me. Let's move away from Daily Independent to the Punch newspaper. On the front page of the Punch, federal government suspends food import duty, partner states on farming. Government launches 5-month duty-free import window for maize, rice, wheat orders. Federal government to partner governors, military to cultivate arable lands, support smallholder farmers. Fubara court bars Rivers CJ from accepting impeachment notice. So that means the hands of the assembly members are tied. Local airlines project, they project 980 naira per litre aviation fuel, meet Dangote. No more traveling. Outrage as Russian missiles kill 33 in Ukraine Children Hospital. That's sad. Queue spread as petrol hits 1,100 naira litre in Abuja and others. Marketers are waiting products from NNPC, says Petroan. Naira weakens to 1,523 naira to the dollar at official market. And that would be the stories that we have this morning on the Punch newspaper. Let's move over to the Vanguard.
All right, let's take the last paper this morning before we go to our guests. Let's do the Vanguard. The Vanguard this morning has it there. Federal government opts for duty-free imports of rice, beans, wheat, other grains. It's an impact on inflation, Nasima says. A step in the right direction. CPPE, Farmer Action Aid boss react. End of the road for 9 billionaire kidnappers in Lagos. Did you hear about the kidnapping in Lagos?
No.
Woo! I'm sure our guests possibly heard of it, and that it was a drama. It was a drama here. Wow. There were it's a long story, but then again you can read it inside of the Vanguard. Let's take one last story and then go straight to our guest. 72 hours after abduction, fate of Kaduna journalist remains unknown. This is very sad, very, very sad. And I think we need to drum more support for his release as much as we can. That's what we're doing here as part of his colleagues. Well, Mr. Ikechukwu, you have the floor now. Let's start off first with the federal government opting for duty-free importation of staple foods, rice, beans, wheat, and other grains.
Well, like a lot of people said yesterday, it may help. And I'm using the word may. Because we've seen this, the problem I have with the Tinubu administration is that, look, there seems to be no effort in thinking through the policies they roll out. This flip-flop that we have every time. The fiscal policies of this government are not working. And as long as we continue this knee-jerk approach to matters that ought to be taken holistically and fundamentally after the government must have deliberated upon it. Look, even if you remove the import duties, they are going to be imported. Naira is still exchanging.
At 1,523 naira.
At 1,523 naira. Those who are going to import at the value of what the naira is today. So it can't come any cheaper.
So it won't come cheaper, but it might just maintain whatever rate it's currently at.
It might, but then as long as the naira continues to dance yo-yo in the exchange market, it will continue. Look, part of the reason for the inflation that we have is the cost of replacement. That is why, you know, people say, we bought the, somebody bought this goods at this price, and then the naira has come down. Why is he not bringing that?
They have to recoup their profits.
They have to recoup their profit first, but again, you are not sure of the cost when next you go to the market.
Sure.
So that if you sell and you go to the market and the price has tripled because the exchange has gone up again, what do? So the replacement cost is the fundamental issue we have here. So this may help. It may, but fundamentally, I think the government needs to, because all these things are reactions. They said it is, of course, now don't forget it is for a period of time. The government needs to sit down and appreciate the fact that its fiscal policies, they have not got it right. And they must do everything possible, because the one man climbed the mast yesterday in Abuja and said he was going to commit suicide because of the
arrested.
because of the high cost of living. What are those other things that we need to do in order to stem inflation, in order to bring that? The cost of governance is still as high as ever. Nobody's talking about that. I think it was yesterday that the president of Liberia cut down on
His salary
40%. Everywhere in Kenya, people are bringing down the cost of governance. Here, we are ramping it up. Those are the things that will continue to impact negatively on the cost of living, on inflation. Look, the interest rate is about 35%. You can't go to the bank to get a loan to finance your business at the rate of 30% or more. Who does that? When you get that kind of money, definitely it will impact negatively on your productivity. When that happens, businesses close down, unemployment spikes, and so there are a whole lot of issues. It is a basket of issues that we have. So telling us that you have reduced or removed the import duty, paid on imported rice and beans and all that may be a temporary measure. But at the long run, you find out fuel queues are back there.
Speaking of fuel queues, I'm glad that you brought that up. The Punch newspaper reports this morning that queue spread as petrol hits 1,100 naira to a litre in Abuja this morning. A number of us have seen the queues. What is going on? It's like every Eke market day, there's a queue popping up in Nigeria. And Nigerians not only have to deal with the fact that the product is not accessible, but now they're dealing with the exorbitant fees they have to pay for the product.
Again, the government is not telling Nigerians the truth. You know, when President Bola Tinubu, right there at his inauguration, said fuel subsidy is gone, of course, all manner of excuses have been thrown up all over the years because of the cheap petrol, smuggling across the border. If we increase the price, smuggling will stop, blah, blah, blah. 1 year after, what has happened? We've increased fuel price, we've removed subsidy, smuggling still persists. I heard the other day that people are still taking petrol across the border. Mm-hmm. And look, Olive, government is a deliberate thing. Governance is deliberate. It is not something you do on the spur of the moment. You must be deliberate in the actions and decisions you take and how they are going to impact on the people. The primary responsibility of government is the welfare and security of the people. The government we've had since 2015, they have not looked after the welfare and the security of the people.
So it's safe to say that the government that has the primary responsibility to cater to our welfare hasn't fared well for the people.
In fact, not to say that it hasn't fared well is to put it mildly.
Yeah.
It has failed. It has failed. It's not failing. It has failed.
Okay.
All right, let's look at another story here very quickly. It says, Naira weakens to 1,523 to $1 at official market on the front page of the Punch. And then just very next to that story, very close to it, it says, queues spread as petrol hits 1,100 Naira per litre in Abuja.
It's even going to get worse. That was what we just said now. If it is 1,523 in the official market, know that in the unofficial market, the parallel market, it is going to be much more higher than that. And as long as the Naira continues to depreciate, every other thing, because we are an import-dependent economy, for crying out loud, what we produce here. And again, look, that is also I said a moment ago that the APC government we've had since 2015, they have not been telling us the truth. Do you remember that former President Muhammadu Buhari and Emefiele did a magic in Abuja? They called rice pyramid. They assembled Nigerians and in fact the international community and erected what they called rice pyramid in Abuja. They said that Nigeria is in fact overproducing rice now. Local production has surpassed and therefore we don't have any need whatsoever to go and import rice. Where is the rice pyramid?
It's gone.
President Tinubu, if you also remember, last time said that they have is it Nawe houses that the president has given orders that grains should be taken out from our distance. Where are those grains? All these things are lies. To put it mildly, because there's no other way to put it other than that when you don't say the truth, when you are brazenly looking your people in the face and lying to them, this is where, because at the end of the day, lies will always be lies. There's no other way. That is why we have resorted to going to import rice when Buhari told us, the same APC government told us that, look, we have turned the corner in terms of local production of rice. We are not being told the truth in this country. And unless our leaders, if things are bad, can you please sit down and tell Nigerians how bad things are and what you think are the issues and what you intend to do in the medium and long term to solve those problems. That clarity we don't have now. You go to India, you go to everywhere. You say you have brought in investors and investments worth billions of dollars. Where are those investors who promised you in India? They were coming with how many billions?
That's true. That's true. That was the statement made as soon as he assumed office. And
where are those things? Yeah. You went to UAE. You said they have you have reached an agreement with them that have lifted the visa ban, and that Emirates Airlines will resume flight immediately. Where are those things? When a government is run on lies, propaganda, it does not work. Because at the end of the day, those things will turn out to stare you in the face. They are not working. So tell us the truth. Tell us where we are. Look, our debt net to GDP is over 50% now. When Buhari left, it was about 35%. Now it has climbed well over 50%.
In just 1 year.
How do you sustain this? What is going on in terms of governance is not sustainable. So the knee-jerk approach of you have increased you have removed the import duties on blah, blah, blah. Perhaps temporary relief, but as long as the other fundamentals continue to go south, I don't think we are coming out of the woods sooner
or later.
All right.
Anyway, as we look forward to wrap up the papers, let's quickly touch on the Rivers State crisis. Let's get your thoughts on it. Yes. What's your thoughts? We're seeing back and forth. Court gives order, no more elongation of local government chairmen. Come to us. We give you 7 days. You have 7 days ultimatum to represent the budget again. Drama.
Well, we have said over and over and over again here the crisis in Rivers State. Even at the risk of sounding like a broken gramophone, there is no crisis in Rivers State. What is going on in Rivers State is the ego, the over-bloated ego of one man called Ezemo Nyesom Wike. Let's not make any mistake about this. What is going on is that one man wants to, in the manner of, I think, King Louis XIV of France, who said, I am the state. Wike is now saying he is Rivers State. And unless things go his way, nothing else will go on. What is going on is that the man wants to protect his structure. And what is that structure? It is structure of criminality, structure of controlling the resources of the people of Rivers State. Look, this thing has nothing to do with the welfare and well-being of the people of Rivers State. So the crisis is to the extent that people have allowed Wike to continue doing what he's doing in Rivers State. It's as simple as that. And, I think it was President Barack Obama who said, as long as the rule of strong men persists in Africa, we can't make any progress. There must be rule of law, for crying out loud. When we allow only one man to assume the responsibility of all of us, there will always be this problem. The moment Wike took it upon himself to buy forms, nomination forms, for everybody who wanted to contest the election in Rivers State, including the governor, that was when this seed was sown. So it is a crisis that has to do with the ego, with the selfish ambition of only one man who wants to be in Abuja and who, after 8 years of being governor of Rivers State, still wants to call the shots, still wants to dictate who gets what in Rivers State. So people of Rivers State need to take their destiny and say enough is enough. The police, I am sorry to say, is not impartial. The police seems to be tilted towards what Wike is doing. And this crisis will not end until Wike sees that he can have his way. As long as he is hopeful that he will have his way, this crisis will persist. So I don't see this in the problem begins and will end with what Rivers people decide to do with their former governor, Ezenwo Nyesom Wike.
He has an army of supporters. I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see how things turn out. It's a battle between the two leading houses, the House Wike and House Fubara, which is quite interesting. It's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining us this morning. And we wish you a wonderful rest of the day. We have 6 more days to find out what will happen with Simnalai Fubara and if you will present budget on
Countdown.